Ron DeSantis has absolutely no idea what he would do if he were president when it comes to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, or for political reasons, he's choosing not to share his actual view on this. And he was challenged during a recent interview about this. And often we'll hear these vague criticisms of Biden's handling of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, supporting Ukraine as he should, as the United States should in this situation. And because the base of the Republican Party just absolutely thinks every single thing Biden does has to be terrible just because Biden's doing it, DeSantis can't voice his support for Ukraine in the way that he should, similar to how Trump is criticizing Biden but can't name specifics as to what would be getting done differently. And so during a recent interview, Ron DeSantis was pressed on this. What specifically would you be doing different than Biden? And apparently he got kind of heated and was upset by this. So Business Insider is reporting on this. Ron DeSantis loses his cool with a reporter after failing to answer a question on how his Ukraine policy would differ from Biden's. Ron DeSantis lost his cool with a reporter when challenged over how his policy on the war in Ukraine would differ from President Joe Biden's. Amid speculation, the Florida governor is poised to launch a 2024 presidential bid. DeSantis was profiled Thursday by the Times of London, which was granted a relatively rare level of access to the Republican rising star. David Charter, a U.S. editor at the Times, wrote that DeSantis showed a flash of temper when asked about Ukraine. Quote, and this is from the guy who did the profile. I ask about Ukraine, and he says that there's a critique of Biden, and I think I'm sympathetic to it in the sense that, is our policy just do whatever Zelensky wants? Is our policy just do whatever Zelensky wants? Or do we have a concrete idea of what we're trying to achieve exactly? That one is really upsetting me, and you hear it a lot. Listen, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be helping Ukraine, but we just need to know exactly what our goal is, what the strategy is to support Ukraine while they defend themselves. Well, what's the end game? Russia stops its invasion. There's answers to these questions. You're just not listening whenever people provide them to you. Continuing, when I ask him how it should be handled differently, he refers to Biden being weak on the world stage and failing at deterrence. But as that is not answering how it should be handled now, I ask again. DeSantis does not have anything to add. Perhaps you should cover some other ground. This is DeSantis now. Perhaps you should cover some other ground. I think I've said enough. So what would you do differently? Doesn't answer. Pressed on it. Doesn't want to give any specifics. And this is great that journalist pressed, because so often you don't see any pushback. You don't see follow-up questions. And there's just this vague Biden's weak and that's why Russia invaded Ukraine, or Trump would have stopped all of this. Trump could end it in a day. Okay, how? How though? And then crickets. You might remember on Fox and Friends, this was DeSantis' response to a question about Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
First, on the president's unannounced visit, is this a good move?
Well, you know, Brian, I'm reminded of when he was vice president, Obama and Biden opposed providing lethal aid to Ukraine during those years. And then I'm also reminded that I don't think any of this would have happened but for the weakness that the president showed during his first year in office, culminating, of course, in the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan. So I think while he's over there, I think I and many Americans are thinking to ourselves, okay, he's very concerned about those borders halfway around the world. He's not done anything to secure our own border here at home. We've had...
Just take a bunch of talking points that you hear all over right-wing media, throw it in a blender, drink it, spit it back out. That's what we got there. It is so aggravating. Take a stance. If you're saying the United States shouldn't support Ukraine in this situation, take a stance. But they won't. It's just Biden bad and he's weak and this never would have happened. How specifically? Putin has clearly had the ambition for a very long time to restore Russia to its Soviet Union glory, and Ukraine is rightfully a part of Russia. And he absolutely wanted to do this at some point. Now he's doing it. Biden has been very strong and clear with the United States' support of Ukraine in this situation. And they can't actually critique specific actions that Biden has taken. So instead, it's here's a talking point that people like within the right-wing spaces that I'm trying to throw red meat to, and that's it. Which is so backwards and so counterproductive, because these are the individuals standing against a strong, luckily they're not successful right now, but they could eventually, a strong support of Ukraine in their defense of themselves against Russia's aggression, which if we don't support Ukraine here, there will be massive negative repercussions moving forward on the world stage. Russia will not stop at Ukraine and will be in an even more dangerous situation in the future. And so Biden's been taking the correct actions. DeSantis can actually critique it to the point where when he gets pressed on specifics, because the journalists realize he wasn't providing them, he gets upset, wants to move on. And that is the epitome of low character, of dishonesty. When your priority is not the truth, it's attacking the other side for political purposes. Let me know what you think. Luke P. Beasley on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the full bonus show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley. Link in the description.